Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly vid. Tonight we're going to talk about what had happened on the indexes and where they are going to buy and sell to start the new month. Before we get into that, I would just like to say that this is going to be the last day that you got, just about a day and an hour, until the Strat Bootcamp closes for registration. If you are not interested in buying it, there is still a chance that you could win it if you go to twitter.com/stat_trading. You can check us out. You'll see in the pinned tweet here. If you do retweet and you're following me and Sarah, there's a chance you get one of those 3 free spots. But if you buy it and then win that, you'll get your money refunded. If you don't buy it and you don't win that, then there's just no chance for you getting in. And after this, we're not accepting any new members to Stat for the next upcoming month, so just be aware of that. What we're going to talk about today is a little bit of a sneak peek as far as what you can see in that boot camp and what we're going to be talking about. So let's get started. First, the new month, when things occur, matter. The reason that is because we know we're in a constant series of confirming and negating what we know to be true. And when we open a new month, we are simultaneously exhausting whatever was happening last month. So this month doesn't quite matter to what's happening now. Besides the fact that we're either going to be a 2 up, an inside bar, or a 2 down, or maybe a 3, depending on what they want to do. So what's relevant is we get the new open. The month open opens here at 529.31. The week open opens here at 529. Oh, not 31. 529.02 for both of those. And then the day opens here at 529.02. So every open here, the month, the week, the day, exact same. So we can't identify the day or week participation group. Therefore, we have less evidence on our trades in either direction. Because when those are all the same, the monthly group is who we're actually identifying, since it's the monthly open being portrayed on the week and day charts. Tomorrow, the day open will separate from the month, giving us additional information. We will then be able to identify the daily group. And then the only other group we were able to identify today is the 60 group after the second 60 of the day has opened. So we can see they come in, the monthly group, 60, day, week, they're all the same. It's the same exact group because it's the first 60 minutes of the month. The second 60 decouples. Now the 60 open is separate from the day open, separate from the week, separate from the month. So we can identify the 60 group. So we have 2 of the 4 time frames in our direction here. Then, after the 2260, which was a simultaneous break with the SPY, the QQQ, which triggered last, the Dow Jones, which triggered second, first, and then IDBM, which triggered first, you're going to see they trade down for 3 hours. And then we get a simultaneous break in the other direction. 2-2 hammer IDBM. 2-2 hammer Dow Jones. 2-2 hammer QQQ. And 2-2 hammer SPY. So at that point, can we identify any seller? Really? Not really, because at that point, the month is inside bar. So they're selling this. They're slightly more aggressive to the downside to start the month. At least the monthly group was and the 60 group was. But since the 60 group is one of the 2 groups we can identify, when that's going 2 to the upside here on the 60, we have pretty much no evidence of the seller at that point. Just the only fact that we have is that we're below the monthly open, and that's it. So notice we have very little information, which means we can trade. Does not mean we don't trade, but what it means is we're actually going to look to confirm and gather information instead of doing it across 4 time frames on one stock. We're going to do it across multiple stocks on the same time frame. So what we can identify is the simultaneous break, they all sold. And then the simultaneous break, now they're all buying. And eventually this will resolve in either direction. Once we can become a 2 on the week, we can have a weekly trend, or 2 on the month, we can have a monthly trend. But ideally, we'd like to see the weekly hammer in force, given it would be an actionable signal. It's what we look for. And now that the day is closed, you can see that they sell in the morning, we get short, you can flip long in the afternoon or cover your shorts, and that's it. So going into tomorrow, the question becomes, do we go 2 up, confirming the 2 up of Monday, or do we go 2-2 reversal, 3-2-2 below that, and negate what Monday did by trying to stop out anyone that bought in the end of the day and anyone that bought during this 2-up day? And one thing I would like to cover before we move on here is when we're identifying candlesticks, there's 2 things we're looking at. We're looking at continuity, which tells you, are the sellers or buyers more aggressive? What's the color of the candle? Because if this day is red, today the sellers are technically more aggressive. Since the day, week, month opens are the same, we'd say the monthly sellers are more aggressive. We don't have any evidence on the daily group. Since it's a 2 up, what does that mean? Buyers are in control, meaning unless this becomes a 3, buyers are still in control on the day. So when this 60 changes, you actually have more evidence to the upside because you're 2 up day and 2 up 60, and the month and week are inside bar doing nothing. So hopefully you guys can see that. You have the conflicted 2-up red, and then the 2-up 60 actually starts confirming the 2-up day, although it's negating the continuity. So it's technically still conflicted, yes, but it's confirming the direction of the day, which is actually more important as far as we're concerned. So hopefully that all makes sense. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. But that being said, where do we see buys to start the week? So just looking at the new month, you can switch over to the monthly timeframes and you'll see this. So who's 2-up, who's 2-down? Well, OIH is taking last month's lows. So that's where we do have some problems. Inside week down. So we have all week to try and get after that. We do go into the weekly bottom of the broad information like this. So we can identify this is outside of that stuff now. So we'll see, does that get bigger? Do they try and come back through? We can also defend stocks. Not so sure what had happened today, but it looks like you just have some data errors since the whole market was going kind of crazy. So that doesn't matter to us. And then we also saw energies become a 2-month to the downside with OIH and XOP become a 2-month to the downside. So energies start off selling. Now, since it's the first day of the month, do we have a lot of evidence of that selling? No, not really, right? We're going into recent lows on the week. We're already at 3. And if we identify the 60 try, we want to ask, like, what could happen? So since this is already outside of all this stuff, either they go 3-2 tomorrow on the day, 3-2 day and down, confirming what we already know and expanding the try, or they poke down, go green, and now the daily participants are trying to counter what the initial monthly group has done. So very, very important to understand that decoupling in those cases. Communications starts as an inside month and up. So communications, we do have some relative strength that we can identify and an actionable signal going into recent highs, but that is an actual month. So that's where we see the initial buys starting. It's mostly going to be your Google normally, which is inside a week doing nothing. Meta is also part of communications. You'll see the 3-2 week could occur, could trigger the 3-1-2 month. So that's something we'd want to know about. In other communications sectors, CMCSA, you'll see starts as an inside week, inside month, so not doing much. T starts as a 2-up, but back into the weekly 3. So that could be a 2-2 on a Tuesday, where you can see initially the monthly group goes to buy, and then comes back in for a 2-2 on a Tuesday. You'd come back through that weekly 3 here. You also see a simultaneous break potentially for Verizon. 2-2 on a Tuesday here, back into this 3 here. Potential outside month. So 3-3 week potentially. 1-3, actually 3-1-3 month with a 2-2 day to make that occur. We can also then see there's one more I'm missing in here. I believe it's T-Mobile, yeah. T-Mobile, potentially a 2-2 on a Tuesday, back into last week's range, back in last month's range, pivot machine gun. So that's something we'll want to know about if that goes in force tomorrow. Other things we see going to start the month. Healthcare start as a 2-2-2 on the week, so much stronger than the rest of the market. If that works, you could take the inside month and up. Specifically in there, I like NVAX. Boom, up to the highs. You see the 3-2-2 day today with the inside week up, takes last month's highs. So it's a monthly 2 to start the month. That means you have all month, if that's going to stay 2 up, where it's continuing. You have the weekly signal all week. Daily signal has exhausted at the end of the day. So we'll see if they come back tomorrow to buy more. Tells you also things like Pfizer, 2-2-2 on the week. Myrna 3-2-2 to go RevStrat week on a Tuesday. There was also some AbbVie today. They did poke up and then went stuck mother bars, so we'll see if anything comes of that. Other healthcare names like J&J are coming 2-2 week, but very inside month. So NVAX, that's really the strongest one I see in there. There's also VRTX, which is another very strong one. So VRTX, NVAX to start the week and the new month. We see a lot of that going on. On the downside of things, and I don't know if I actually have industrials up there. I do. So on the downside of things, industrials, 3 to start the new week. So that's a broad information. Either side of that gets your attention. 2 down week, 3 day. We'll see, does it become a 3-1-2 month down? If it does, potentially Dow Jones might want to 2-2 the month, but we'll see. Still want to let them open because we just don't have a lot of 2s yet. But in there, forgive me, I don't trade industrials enough to have it off the top of my head. So in there, you're going to have CAT, big old 3 to start the week with a Momo shooter on the month, 3-2-2 down. CMI, big old 3 to start the week, also a little bit of a Momo shoot on the month. URI, inside month down with a big 3 on the day to start. Waste Management 3-2-2 to start the new month. 2 down month, confirming last month's inside down. 3-2 reversal week. So below that, Waste Management might have some issues. And does have a dividend coming up. Industrial CSX 3-3 to start as well. So a lot of threes in there, which means either you stay out of those or they reclaim and come back the other way. So be very aware of that in the industrial sector. But we'll see that with the energies being pretty weak. And in the energy sector, you got like Oxy taking last month's lows, EOG last month's lows, Fang, Hess, Slob, Halliburton, etc. So we'll see if anything comes of those, but really to start the new month, we don't have to jump in there and be too crazy. Going into Turnaround Tuesday, these are going to be your setups. We already covered the telecommunication stuff. If we go into the rest here, you'll see GPS, potentially a 2-2 on a Tuesday name, back into last week's 3, so we'll see if anything comes of that. Alta, 2-1-2 after the gap up. Pivot Machine Gun to trigger the 2-2 weekend down. And these are a lot of bearish setups just because that's most of what I see in here. CPNG, inside day, so inside down could trigger the Rev Strat week and Pivot Machine Gun those guys, take last month's lows. Pepsi, 3-1 on the day, closer to the 2-2 month, back to the downside. Also tells you like maybe Hershey's, which is closer to a 3-2 hammer on a Tuesday. Also tells you Coca-Cola, which starts as the 3-2 week up inside month, so not much going on there. JP Morgan starts as a 3-1, potentially could trigger the 3-1-2 week, trying to start expanding that 3 of last month. So that's something I want to know about. Could get you out of this outside bar on the day, which is your mother bar currently. In the chips, you have ENPH, which it's between like a chip and a solar name. I can't quite figure it out, but it's in the chips as far as I know. ENPH, Marvel, and MU, all going to be, not MU, ENPH, Marvel, there must have been one that I missed there, but ENPH and Marvel will be inside days going into tomorrow as well. And as far as observations go, we already talked NVAX, and then industrials are poking down, so we'll see if 3-2s or anything goes crazy tomorrow. But that is going to be about it from me. If we go and take a look at the Strat site, you guys can do this live yourselves intraday tomorrow. If you go and take a look at app.stratalerts.com, what you want to be scanning for if you're looking for monthly signals is whose month in force, and this will give you all the monthly signals. So notice there's 3 monthly signals that closed in force, 50 billion plus, and then these are the rest. So notice how it's 50-50 to start. What we want to see is a heavy bias in one direction. That'll tell us where they're buying as well as which direction we should be trading in to start the month. But it's 50-50 to start. And you'll see like Starbucks taking out last week's highs, or last month's highs. Spot is an inside month and up. And communications, which Spotify is part of communications. Then you got Baidu taking last month's lows, and that's really about it as far as names we know. CVS, which we talked about on the weekend vid, is inside, or no, it's a 2-2 week up and a 2-2 month up. But we can look here to see. We can also scan and say who's a 2-2-2 week to the upside this week, because that's going to tell you where they're buying, at least negating last week's move, trying to get the months going. And you'll see there's VRTX, which is healthcare's, CVS, which is also healthcare's / consumer discretionary, Pfizer, which is healthcare's, etc. So you can scan this and see where they're going. What you can also do is scan and say, okay, on the daily basis tomorrow, if we know that they're buying healthcare's, go healthcare, scan for 2 up days and see, well, who's going up tomorrow. So notice we have 41 healthcares going 2 up to start the new week, new month as well. We want to see how many of these continue and which ones go 2 up again, because that's where the buyers actually are. They're currently going and buying all of them, but we want to see who the strongest stuff is. So tomorrow night we'll have a Strat Attack video, and that's really when I'm going to be planning on making most of my trades. The other thing I did do today, just on a whim, because I saw some people talking about Top Step, I did open a little bit of a funded account, and to close the day I think I was up 1,300. I was up like 2,300, and I had to close out some of that or get rid of some of that so I wouldn't mess up the consistency rule. But that might be something we start talking about a little bit more as well. I'm going to be using it to scalp the futures till it's funded, and then maybe we'll talk more about that. But that's going to be about it to start. We don't have to rush into anything. We'll see the Momo hammers on all the indexes and stuff, who's breaking that up, and then the 2-2s on a Tuesday, where those are going, and the inside days. We'll scan those as well, which you can also use the strat site for. Scan the in-force on the day and see where those inside days going tomorrow. So that's going to be about it for me. Hopefully you guys had a good Monday with the gap up sell, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow night's vid, or if you're in stat, I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning, and we'll hopefully get some more stuff going. So adios, and have a great rest of your night.